What is up, everybody? Back with another top 10 here today, and this time it's going to be my 10 favorite albums from 2001. Continuing onward with this series, eventually, as I said, I want to have every single year done since 1975. But 2001, really cool year, a lot of good albums, and this is just my opinion as usual. Here we go. Starting off the list at number 10 is Nuclear Fire by Primal Fear. Amazing German metal band here. Pretty much the German Judas Priest. If you like Judas Priest and you don't know these guys, I definitely recommend you go check them out because the singer, Ralf Scheepers, very similar vocal style to Rob Halford, and overall the band just has kind of similar feeling riffs and overall sounds of Judas Priest. Maybe a bit more power metal influence with Primal Fear, but this is a great album. Matt Sinner on bass is one of the co-founding members along with Ralf. He also has a band called Sinner, which is really cool. Ralf was the original singer of Gamma Ray, actually. Some of y'all may know him from that band with Kai Hansen from Helloween. But yeah, really awesome riffs with this band, as I said. Good songs. Looking at these, Angel in Black to open it up. Super similar feel to Painkiller, in my opinion. The riff is kind of similar, just super hard-hitting, amazing song. Looking at the rest of this stuff, some other standouts I'd say are Fight the Fire, Eye of an Eagle, and probably the title track. But top to bottom, really cool album here, Nuclear Fire, number 10. Next up at number 9 is Killing Ground by Saxon, the new wave of British heavy metal legends who at this point were already over 20 years into their career, and it's just ridiculous how consistent they are. Just good album after good album. The early stuff's amazing. The middle stuff's great, which is right here. Their current stuff is awesome. Thunderbolt was amazing, but this album, really heavy. The riffs are awesome. Paul Quinn and Doug Skerritt on guitar, both fantastic. Biff Byford, his voice sounds good as usual. Great vocal melodies. The choruses are awesome all over this album. The title track is amazing. One of their best songs of all time. Looking at the rest of this stuff, Coming Home, Hell Freezes Over, Court of the Crimson King has an amazing guitar solo, Deeds of Glory, really, most of this stuff, top to bottom, is awesome. Saxon's a great band, so they're here at number 9 for me, Killing Ground. Coming in at number 8 is Unholy Terror by Wasp. Been talking about Wasp a lot lately. They're a great band, one of my absolute favorites. Blackie Lawless on vocals, one of the absolute best and most unique voices of all time. He does rhythm guitar on this album. This is their last one with Chris Holmes on lead guitar. He had great tone. He was a good player. A lot of the stuff with him is really good, including this album. Looking at these songs, Let It Roar to open it up is fantastic. Locomotive Man, probably my favorite on the album. Wasted White Boys, a good kind of party hard rocker with an 80s feel to it at the end of the album. But top to bottom, this one is a very solid release. Unholy Terror, number 8. Next up at number 7 is The World Needs a Hero by Megadeth. My beloved Megadeth right here, my favorite band of all time. This one has a lot of good songs on it, but it also does have a couple stinkers, which hold it back a little bit. Promises and Losing My Senses is what I'm referring to, but other than that, I like most of these songs a good bit. Disconnect to open it up isn't their best opener, I'll be honest, but it's got a really cool guitar solo. The title track on here is really cool, kind of unique song. The drumming's cool, and the riff, it's like a weird scratching thing, and it's just a cool, unique song. 1,000 Times Goodbye is a really good kind of dark one. Same thing can be said about Burning Bridges. Recipe for Hate, Warhorse, again, good dark atmosphere on that song. Cool stuff. Dread and the Fugitive Mind, which actually was originally on the Capital Punishment compilation in 2000, then was later on this, so that's a really good song as well. Al Pitrelli's shining moment, in my opinion, with Megadeth is that guitar solo in Dread and the Fugitive Mind. Just amazing stuff there, and I didn't mention this is the only full-length studio album with Al Pitrelli on guitar. It has Jimmy DeGrasso on drums, who was on Risk in '99 before this, Dave Mustaine, vocals and guitar, of course, and David Ellefson on bass, and Return to Hangar and When, both a couple of other really cool songs on here. But this is a good album that I enjoy quite a bit. The World Needs a Hero, number 7. Next up at number 6 is M16 by Sodom, German thrash metal legends here, putting out quite possibly their best album of all time in my opinion. Super consistent, great classic sounding thrash here. It's Sodom. They have their sound, and Tom Angel Ripper, the band leader, of course, is there on bass and vocals. The other two guys in the band at this point, because they were operating as a trio, which is what they are best known as being as a trio. Bernd Kost was the lead guitar player at this point, and Bobby Schwatkowski on the drums. Looking at these songs, a lot of really cool stuff. Among the Weird Kong to open it up is great. I Am the War, Napalm in the Morning, one of my favorites. Mind Jumper, quite possibly my favorite Sodom song of all time. But yeah, title track is really cool too. Top to bottom, really, really good thrash metal right here that I highly recommend. M16, number 6.
Silent waiting for the kill, stalking prey on weak and ill. Smell of fear in the air, ending life without a care.
Coming in at number 5 is Carnival Diablos by Annihilator. Fantastic album here, super underrated. Annihilator is my favorite Canadian band of all time, one of my favorite thrash bands. I think that a lot of their stuff post Set the World on Fire is amazing, which a lot of people seem to think differently, unfortunately. They kind of get thrown in as a band that only has a few good albums, which is bullshit because most of their discography is really good, including this album, Jeff Waters. So many awesome riffs, melodies, solos all over this album as usual. Joe Cumiu, or however his name's pronounced, is the vocalist on this, and he is also the vocalist of Liege Lord. He played rhythm guitar for Overkill on a couple albums in the 90s, which is cool. So, well-traveled guy there. Looking at these songs, Denied to open it up is fantastic. The Perfect Virus is really cool. Hunter Killer is a freaking fast-paced, hard-hitting thrasher to finish the album, but a lot of really good stuff mixed in there. All over the record here. Really good stuff. I highly recommend. Carnival Diablos, Annihilator, number 5. Next up at number 4 is Tales from Eternal Dusk by Dark Fortress. Really amazing German melodic black metal band right here. For a while, they were my very favorite black metal band, but they were overtaken by another band. Still in my top 3 for sure. A lot of amazing stuff. At this point, they had Azathoth doing the vocals. He was their singer for the first 4 albums. I do prefer him slightly over their current guy, Maureen, but both really cool. The musicianship on this album is great. As time went on, the band got a lot more progressive, but at this point, they were a bit more raw. Still very melodic and awesome, though. Looking at these songs, Pilgrim of the Nightly Spheres is amazing. Super awesome, mesmerizing melodies and riffs throughout the song. Same thing could be said about Twilight, which is another standout. Apocalypse is more of a chaotic sounding one. Really cool stuff, though. Top to bottom, Crimson Tears is great. Dreaming's awesome. Really just amazing album right here. One of the best black metal debuts, in my opinion. Tales from Eternal Dusk, Dark Fortress, number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Seven Hills by Anthem. Amazing band here. I've previously ranked them one of my top 30 all time. They're one of my top 2 favorites from Japan for sure, alongside of Loudness. Super consistent with this band. Most of their albums are really good. The 1992 album Domestic Booty came out, and they broke up for about 8 years. Came back in the year 2000 with an album called Heavy Metal Anthem, which was just a lot of their old songs that they redid with English vocals, with Graham Bonnet doing the singing. And then after Graham left, they brought back Aizo Sakamoto for this album, and he was their singer on the first 3. Came back for this, was in the band for the next 6 after this album, and then Naito Shibata, the bass player, the constant member, been on everything, is there. Akio Shimizu, who is one of my absolute favorite guitar players of all time. This dude's guitar solos are mesmerizing, just super fast, clean, amazing, kind of similar to Jeff Waters, I'd say, just that kind of style. But looking at these songs on this album, a lot of good stuff. Grieve of Hard to Open It Up is cool. XTC is a really good hard rocker. Raging Twister, The Man With No Name. DIM 422 is a really cool instrumental that, if you want to hear some guitar virtuosity, go listen to that. Akio freaking destroys it. But yeah, top to bottom, this is a really cool album. Good return for Anthem. Seven Hills, my number 3 of 2001. Next up at number 2 is Honor, Valor, Pride by Bolt Thrower, the English death metal legends. Super consistent, amazing band. This album here is fantastic. The riffs are freaking sick, super heavy, amazing guitar tone. Gavin Ward and Barry Thompson, amazing guitar players. Just, as I said, the riffs are ridiculous. Joe Bench on bass is fantastic. Martin Kearns, who sadly passed away in 2015, is drumming on this, is fantastic. Great double bass kick. And Dave Ingram on the vocals sounds freaking like a beast. But looking at these songs, the songs Honor, Valor, and Pride, there's 3 different songs with those names, are all really good. I love the first song on it called Contact Wait Out. Got a really nice build up, and the riffs on it are freaking amazing. The melody's great as well. But yeah, top to bottom, this is a really great, solid, amazing album. Honor, Valor, Pride, Bolt Thrower, my number 2 of 2001. Now, some honorable mentions as usual before I get to my number 1 pick. Looking at these, of course, God Hates Us All by Slayer. Super close to making it. A couple years ago, I probably would have had it on the list for sure. It's dropped a little bit for me, but I do still really enjoy that one. The Gravedigger by the band Gravedigger is amazing. Super dark, heavy album. Great German band there. Hallowed Apparition by the band Eidolon. Really great one from Canada. The Drover brothers, best known as being in Megadeth. That's one of their early, or that is their like first band. Really good stuff with that one. Diabolus Interium by the band Dark Funeral. Really cool stuff, close to making it. Great Swedish black metal right there. Jag Panzer's album was cool, an early band of Chris Broderick. Of course, Chris shreds on everything. Marduk's album from that year was cool. Violent Revolution by Creator. Poets and Madmen by Savatage. Man in the Moon by LA Guns. I guess I can give an honorable mention to Demolition by Judas Priest. Obviously not their best, but there's still some pretty good stuff on it. But yeah, on to my number 1. And taking the number 1 spot is Horror Show by Iced Earth. Amazing album right here. Super consistent. The musicianship is top-notch. The lineup on it is freaking ridiculous. You got John Schaefer, of course, who, in my opinion, is one of the all-time great riff masters in metal. His tone's awesome. My favorite rhythm guitar player of all time. Great songwriter. Matt Barlow on vocals, who sounds fantastic per usual. Steve DiGiorgio on bass. Richard Christie on the drums, who freaking destroys it on this album. Amazing drumming. And Larry Tarnowski does some guitar on it as well. Top to bottom, as I said, super consistent. But looking at some of these songs, Wolf, Damien, Jack, some of my favorites. Frankenstein, probably my absolute favorite on the album. The riff to open that one up is ridiculously awesome. The tone is so good and amazing. Just a super dark atmosphere on this album. The just overall feel of it's super kind of creepy and dark. Amazing stuff. My favorite album for sure from 2001, Horror Show, Iced Earth. And that does wrap up the list. And as usual, let me know what y'all thought about the ranking there. My top 10 of 2001. Give me your top 10 of 2001 as well. And as usual, thank y'all for watching. Till next time.